again, everybody. Welcome to the Backbone Podcast, where common sense still makes sense in a world that is sick and only getting sicker. And speaking of sick, the face in front of you is that of former NFL wide receiver Antonio Brown, who just can't keep himself out of trouble. You know, let me tell you, Antonio Brown was at one time a great, I would say, premium wide receiver. I mean, homeboy won me fantasy football leagues a couple of times, a couple of championships off of Antonio's efforts on the field. But this guy has just gone off the deep end, and he's gone off the deep end in a big way. Antonio Brown was extradited today from Dubai to the United States to face trial on attempted murder charges related to a shooting earlier this year. The Miami Police Department confirmed Brown's extradition. Several videos on social media show Brown getting into a fight with multiple people following matches at the Adin Ross boxing event in May. The popular streamer hosted a 10-match card sponsored by Steak, Kick, and Brand Risk Promotions. The video that we're going to show you in a little bit showed Brown appearing at the fight in the parking lot as a crowd moved toward an alley. Gunshots rang out, sending spectators running in the opposite direction. Brown admitted that he had slammed, quote unquote, one of the person's security guards. He said that he told one of the officers that he didn't do anything, of course. I didn't do nothing. The Washington Post reported the next month that a warrant was out for Brown's arrest. A representative for Brown did not immediately respond to any request for comments. The alleged victim of the shooting was Zul Quanam Nentambu. That sounds like a nice Western civilization name. Who waved the Palestinian flag. This guy waved a Palestinian flag during the Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime show last February. So we know what kind of person this fucko is. Nentambu, no angel himself, was arrested in June on charges of resisting an officer who and disturbing the peace by interrupting a lawful assembly, revealing a link to the incidences. When Nentambu's link to the incidences surfaced online, Brown responded, and I quote, "That guy is a fraud, liar, stalker, and criminal. He was arrested in 2022 for stealing 6 figures of jewelry from me. He then showed up at my show at Rolling Loud in 2023 trying to assault me." Brown wrote this on X. Brown continued to go. Then in May, he snuck into a gate at an event and came right up to me trying to steal from me and threaten my life. Media hasn't told you that story yet, instead painting a false picture of me. That night I was fighting for my life with his intentions. Now, Antonio Brown is a sick man. He probably has CTE, and he should be treated for that. He'd be checked out first and then treated for it if he does. Because these guys they're all fucked up. They make millions, tens of millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions. They blow it all on, baby mamas and fucking cars and all this gaudy jewelry. And they slowly lose their minds and they go insane. Now, Brown has had multiple legal issues in the past. He was sued in 2019 over allegations of rape and sexual misconduct. He settled out of court with the accuser with that. He pled no contest in felony battery and burglary charges in June of 2020. There are people who go through their whole lives without getting in trouble. You get a parking ticket or you get a speeding ticket. That's like the most excitement with law enforcement people get. This dude, rape and sexual harassment or misconduct in 2019. Felony battery and burglary in 2020. Brown was arrested again in 2023 over allegations of unpaid child support, which you can't blame a homie for that. Because he's probably got like 15 baby mamas. But when does it stop? Now apparently he made these he shot up this guy. He shot this. It was at this event, So let's see. Let's see if I can get more information here. The incident involved Brown allegedly firing shots at jeweler Zuli Kwan, or whatever the fuck his name is, Numbambu, during a dispute linked to prior jewelry theft accusations in Dubai. Authorities recovering shell cases at the scene. Brown, who fled after posting bond, now awaits transfer to Florida for the trial amid his history of post-NFL controversies. Here is the incident right here. There's Antonio Brown, and there's the alleyway that they're in. Let's show you what goes on, and then you decide.
Walk in. Yo, it's AB outside. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! Yo, what the?
Now, I'm guessing that the guy really guy there is Antonio Brown. This guy here is Antonio Brown, and he then fired those shots into a crowd or whatever. But my word, this guy, he's just out of his mind. And the antics he pulled on the field, even when he was with Tampa, I think it was at a Jet game, he basically quit on the team. He took off his uniform and he started waving goodbye. It was that famous wave goodbye at the crowd, which shows how unstable he is. Now, we know that these players, after so many years of taking hits and getting knocked down and battered around, their brains, now these guys, we all know we're not dealing with a lot of brain power anyway. But when they get knocked around the way they do, they start to act absolutely insane. They've lost all control. And I think that what Antonio should do, if I was his lawyer, and I'm not, I would suggest he get some sort of MRI or brain scans just to show that, hey, man, I'm not well. I have this issue. I can't help the way I am. I need professional help. I don't need jail. Because obviously he is crazy. He's just nuts. I mean, just by his actions here, his history, and all these players, all these football players are crazy. You hear about these events all the time now. We just heard this thing about this morning with this Dallas Cowboys defensive tackle or whatever shot himself because the cops were after him. That's a story that might be coming out soon. I might be having to do that tomorrow, because that looks like that's a very unusual story coming out. But to think that Dubai would give him up. Now, Antonio made a big mistake here. He should have went to a country without any extradition, like Brazil. He probably should have went to North Korea or China or one of those places to hide out in there. I know I've always heard that France has one of the worst extradition laws in the world. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. You could come in and he's black, so he would fit right in. But they don't care what the U.S. wants. The U.S. usually threatens you with tariffs, or they put some sort of political pressure on you, and these countries give you up right away because they don't want to deal with it, because you're not important enough for them to deal with the bullshit. But a place like France or Switzerland, forget it. They would laugh at you. If you're hiding in Switzerland, there are plenty of guys, plenty of people right now that are hiding, big time criminals, bigger than Antonio Brown would ever be, that are hiding in Switzerland and France and Luxembourg and Liechtenstein, that the United States can't touch, because those countries, they have they're economically sound. They don't give a fuck what the United States says. What's the United States going to do to them? We're not going to trade with you anymore? Who gives a shit? U.S. doesn't pull that kind of weight anymore. But Antonio doesn't mean anything to Dubai. So they probably were just like, hey, listen, we're getting rid of a Schwarzer, and and we can just we have one less to worry about. But you feel for Antonio, especially if he is dealing with this CTE stuff, because I think he is. I think he is. Now, I don't know him personally. I don't know how he was before, but in his earlier playing days, he seemed like the model player. Came to play all the time, put up big numbers. He did me good. He did good for me. There was a lot of cabbage I was winning in those days. But it seems like Antonio is in big trouble now. And I don't know what second-degree attempted murder gets you in the state of Florida. I know they try to execute people for anything, but he won't face that. What he'll probably face is a couple of years in jail, unless they can prove that that he is mentally ill and that he does need help, which is probably the case, most likely the case. Football is a sport where a lot of parents, and listen, my kid plays it. He's very, very good. It's a risk. It's a risk. You know, wrestling season starting next, that's a risk too. When it comes to head and neck injuries, concussions, because a lot of these guys, sometimes you don't even notice if you have a concussion, but a lot of times if they feel like having headaches, but there's a big game coming, they're not gonna say, "Hey, coach, man, I got a concussion, I can't go." No way. If you're a competitive person, you're never doing that. And I think Antonio probably did that a lot more than people know, which is a shame, because your health is the only thing worth having. Money goes away, bitches go away, all the materialistic shit goes away, but your health is the most important thing, and your character. And there's my 2 cents on a short evening, a short Thursday night. Thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Remember, my friends, Satan is always busy, always busy, always busy. Be a man, have a backbone, because masculinity and common sense are worth standing up for. And remember, if it ends in an ism, it's a mental disorder. We'll see you later.